In 2020, the Women's Funding Network, in partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, set out to establish a new initiative to invest in 9 different women's funds across the country who were experimenting with place-based models to increase economic mobility for women and their families. The hubs represent 5 regional and 4 state women's funds, reflecting their unique geographic and demographic landscape. From Arizona to Maine, these organizations are tackling issues of childcare, education, and workforce development by working directly with their communities, magnifying existing strategies that remove persistent barriers to economic mobility.
What we do is center the lived experiences of people in the community, and we support them versus try to make them fit themselves into a cookie-cutter approach that our foundations have set.
Women's funds are so important in philanthropy because our approach is not so much top-down, but really driven by the community needs and the programmatic work that the nonprofit organizations are providing to our residents here.
There is a reason this work has to be place-based. There is no one-size-fits-all. In fact, the approach of equity, when you think of equity as an approach and an outcome, requires that we think about the unique needs and assets of the communities that we are working in and the solutions that we are in pursuit of.
The goal of this initiative is to create lasting advancements in economic mobility and workforce development, and to provide research that can support leadership for the next phase of change. To meet this goal, we offered funding, technical assistance, capacity building strategies, visionary conversations, and a community learning network.
Being part of this program with Women's Funding Network gave us access to capital that has allowed us to run our operations. And it has also allowed us to connect to a national cohort of other women's funds with expertise that we are constantly learning from. And it's allowed us to participate in the development of how we move forward as a group to be more impactful in our work.
What's really neat is to see the focus and intentionality among the 9 members, what they're working on, to learn what they're learning, what they're seeing on the ground, and how can we apply that learning here in our model.
In addition to creating a strong learning community at the center of this program, it was critical for us that we apply our feminist values to a research model that provides evidence for the trends we were seeing about how well women's funds leveraged funding and how effective their community funding and organizing models are at creating meaningful change.
Women's Economic Mobility Hub evaluation component and the expertise that was brought to the table with this not only lent credibility to the project, but really has helped direct us with the data that has been collected, and also cumulatively to look across the projects and see the impact of using that data.
What we know is that the work is only as good as the evaluation of the work. And so through the Women's Funding Network, we have been able to partner with Corin Consultants to actually think about the effectiveness of the work to ensure that as we scale, we are scaling a model that is going to have the greatest impact for our community, for our state, and for women's economic mobility.
Women's foundations have this unique role to really amplify the critical role that women play, their need for investment, and to showcase when you do invest in women, what happens, how it has a multiplier effect.
In particular, we need to bring together that gender, racial, and economic equity perspective in order for us to ensure that all women in families ultimately thrive.
What we have seen is that women's funds innovate at an exceptional rate, faster than the sector. The innovation needs unrestricted funding to match that speed and the experience of their work, and we want to show how powerful that innovation can be when we put investment and energy behind it and measure the results.
We're going to start in our communities, create innovation, and then from that innovation, create national models.
We believe that when you invest in women and girls, you really are investing as catalysts who change our communities. And so one of the ways in which foundations can really lead this and really stand up to the moment that we're in right now is by investing in women and girls.
And the place-based strategies that we are learning and honing can not just change the work as we see it, but it can change the world of philanthropy. And that is the value of the work that we are doing with the Women's Funding Network.